Mariska, the founder and CEO of TVSW Media, where we restore faith back into your heart. Today, I have Leanne Fuller, one of the co-authors from the Unstoppable Woman of Purpose compilation. It's great to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. So, as you may already know, I have read your chapter many times. And I honestly found it to be so powerful. I noticed that you were more of the how to get through it rather than the base of your story. So tell me a little bit about your journey through what you call the A's of being unstoppable.
Well, as you said, I wrote a lot about how to get through it because I've shared my journey in some past compilations, in some past anthologies that I've been in. So I really wanted to get to, and I kind of thought it fit with this book, the steps and the stuff you can do to get through it, because I think that's what this anthology, a lot of it is about, is how to become unstoppable. How do we get there? We all have our stories, and they're very for every single person, but everybody has their own story, but not everybody knows when they're stuck and they're in the depth of it and in the darkness, they don't know how to get through that and get past that. My story, it's a long one, but to make the story short, I became a mother at 16, and it was rough. And I remember going to my sister's graduation as I'm becoming a senior and she's graduating, and all I hear about is, you hear the whispers and everybody, well, geez, she's not even going to go back to school. She's not going to finish school, the whole 9 yards. And you hear the whispers, and I'm the kind of person, you tell me I can't, and I'll show you I will. And that's basically what I live by. And believe me, it's gotten me far, a lot farther than I ever imagined it would get me. What's that?
I said I can't even imagine. I mean, I get where you're coming from for sure, but
yeah,
that's a crazy journey.
Yeah, it was a crazy journey, but needless to say, I went back to school. I graduated with honors. It was a long year. It was rough, but I did it. Went on to have 2 more daughters. They're all 3 years apart, basically, and they're now 21, 18, and 15. So, but yeah, went on, had my 3 girls, love my 3 girls, but it was through kind of a toxic relationship. Not to get into that a whole lot, but after some years of some issues, I finally stepped out and got out of that toxic relationship and went home to my mom's. Thank God I had my mom's to go home to. Not everybody does. No. And spent some time there before I finally, struggled and got out on my own apartment. And it was a lot of day in and day out of, you get up early in the morning, you get the kids up, you take them to the sitter, you get them home, and hopefully, you get home in time to have dinner, homework, bath, to bed, get up, do it all over again, and working 2, sometimes 3 jobs to support them. Wow. I'm very thankful I had a really good support system to get me through it. Otherwise, I never could have. But there's a lot of rough times where it's times of not even knowing, like, what are we going to have for dinner? There's not a whole lot to have for dinner. I remember my mom taking me shopping, and I was so upset. My mom was sick. She lives with my sister. My other sister lives around the corner, and she calls me, I need to go to the grocery store. And I'm like, why can't someone that lives with you around the corner take you to the grocery store?
But I want you.
Well, little did I know, she really didn't need to go to the store, but she wanted to take me to get groceries. So
Ah,
it just, it's it was a rough journey.
mhm.
Um, and then, like I said, a lot of day in, day out, the same old thing, working a lot. And then finally, I had someone say to me, well, what are you going to do? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What are you going to do for the rest of your life? And I had no clue. I I kind of he threw me off guard, and I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't think about tomorrow, let alone 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So and that's what really got me thinking, and that's what started me on this journey of more. And I always had that gut feeling that there was more out there, that I wasn't meant to be just working all the time. So it started me on that journey and got me thinking, and just a lot of thought. And you know as I say in there, there's that silent whisper turn into like an outrageous roar. Like, there's more out there. And it began a very long journey for me, but it's been an amazing journey.
Mhm. Mhm. That's great. That's great. And I want to thank you. Just like your I could see your tears and you're choking up. But that just shows that it's real. I mean,
Yes.
everybody has a story.
Yes.
And when you think about back when it was happening, it can be
Yes.
it can be tough.
Yes.
But you got to remember that you made it through, right? You're a
Yes.
completely different person,
Yes.
and
Yes.
according to the book, you're unstoppable, right? So,
Yes.
no, that's great. And like I said, I want to thank you for that, because it's just, you're sincere. You're really sincere, and
Yes.
that's great. That's
Yes.
great. Okay, so how has your life been impacted since being directly involved with this global movement?
um Well, it's just beginning. I know that starting out and talking with Nella, geez, I think it was a year ago now, as we started out on this journey and the beginning of this global movement. And it's just the impact that there is for, yeah, you have to excuse me.
Hey, we got into a really deep question.
um, it was just the impact that I could see that this was going to have, not only for us as authors, but as a global movement, to touch women and to empower women just to be their best, just to be unstoppable. And that's what I do one on one with women. And I'm always looking to do more of that. And I want to touch more people in more women's lives and empower them to just get out of their own way and find their greatness. And so many of us are kind of stuck in our own way, and we're our own worst enemies. And I just found the message of this global movement to be huge and amazing. And the people that it was going to touch I just found it so powerful. And that's what it's done since I've joined it. It's made me unstoppable, as I know it will others.
That's great. That's so great. Okay, so I know for me, reading this book, as you know, I explained to you that I edited it,
Mhm.
right? So,
Mhm.
like I said multiple times,
Mhm.
but it has completely transformed my life.
Mhm.
And now God is the center of my world, and
Mhm.
He was not before.
Mhm.
But it's only increasing, and for the betterment of my life and my family's life. So I'd love to hear how God plays his role in your life. If he does, if you have some other beliefs, I'd love to hear about it.
Um, I am a very spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
I believe everybody has their own sense of God, I guess you can say. You know, some people it's God, some people it's the universe, some people it's just angels. I mean, it's hard to say. Everybody has their own
For sure.
sense of that.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a very spiritual person. I think that everything happens for a reason. I think all of the dark things that we go through, it's all put in place for a reason to make us stronger and to grow. If we never had to experience anything negative, we would never grow. I remember being at an amazing thing called Divas in the Kitchen from one of the co-authors, Savannah Moore,
Mm-hmm.
and hearing one of the speakers say, there is no purpose without pain. And because and that is a pure example that if you don't experience any pain, you'll never grow. You won't find your purpose. And I think that's a lot of where, with the spiritual being, and that's where I think it's leading us down that path. And sometimes we have to have these struggles to keep us going in the right direction. I remember, I go back to when I was young, and, when I had my first daughter, I was not headed down a good path. I mean, my dad passed away the year before, and I wasn't going down a good path. And then I kind of lost a whole year until I wake up one day and it's like, holy crap, I'm pregnant. And I think that was to get me back on the right path. And I think that's just what it is. We're all put in front of people that we're meant to be put in front of, and vice versa. We're supposed to have the people come into our lives that we do for a reason. And I think, like I said, that's just the universe or God or however you want to say it. That is where that that's where that's where that has a place in my life and in my journey.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. Thank you. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. I was one of those people that fully was the universe. That's what I believe
Mhm.
in. The
Mhm.
law of attraction.
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, I still 100% believe in all of those theories, but now I
Mhm.
just relate them to God, which
Right.
honestly I had never thought I would ever do.
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
but that is the impact that Nella has put on my life, and
Mhm.
it's only gotten better. So, um, thank you. So much for taking time out to be on the show,
Mhm.
and for the great insights on being an unstoppable woman of purpose.
Well,
And I just want to wish you great prosperity in the time to come as time goes on, especially with this book.
well, thank you, and thank you for having me.